We saved the best for last. It's our entertainment segment. Let's talk about why it's time to stop calling hip hop a young man's game. Okay. So, I will let you know that I was born in the 80s. I was born in 82. So, I grew up alongside hip hop. Hip hop has me by a few years. Hip hop just had its 50th birthday. I have the 50th anniversary Timberlands in my studio, unworn, by the way. I'm so proud of having those, the purple ones. But yeah, I grew up watching hip hop grow up, you know. To be fair, I spent kind of my early years listening more to church music than anything else. But I, like many of us, all grew up with hip hop. And yeah, for a long time, we kind of knew and understood that hip hop was a young man's game. Indeed, when I first got on the radio, one of my old program directors, who I love dearly, he told us, he's like, hey, listen, if you guys think you're going to be here well into your 30s, if you guys think you're going to be here in your 40s, don't plan on it. This is not that kind of industry. These people that are here need to be talking to young folks. That's it. So stay tapped into the culture, ride the wave as long as you can, but don't make this your everything, right? And I'm so glad that he was largely wrong about that, right? Because at the time, we had not seen really any examples of hip hop for adults. It was still very much maturing. But I'm going to share something here from UpRocks / Hip Hop DX. And I think it's very potent. So basically, it says the idea that hip hop is strictly a young man's genre is a total myth. 2025 and the last decade as a whole, really, is proof that there is no age limit when it comes to making rap music that elevates the art form, resonates with listeners, both young and old, and moves the needle in the culture. Just ask Clips, Nas, Killer Mike, 2 Chainz, Black Thought, or any of the other OGs who are still delivering at a high level late in their careers. So I just thought that this was something that was like some interesting fodder for conversation. And, you know, last year was a huge year for hip hop. And, you know, folks don't really know this, but kind of the inception of this show, the QR code, was based around covering aspects of the culture at large that really didn't lend themselves to Civic Cypher. So Q and I are great folks to offer some perspective here. And as I'm learning, let me make sure I give you a wide berth, because I know you have a lot to offer this, Q, just because I spend so much time with you. So talk to me.
It's a really interesting thing that it can be argued that the album of the year is the Clips.
You sure? Yeah.
And these are not young men. These are very grown men, fathers.
Mm-hmm.
There's an interesting thing with our genre, the one that they've allowed us to hold on to, because they're kind of all ours. We've godfathered most of popular music. But I think that's the reason they tried to keep it bottled in a box to just serve young people, where you too can tour the world forever playing hits from 40 years ago or 30 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And we're supposed to just give it up. You know, you got your couple albums in, you got your couple hits, your 5 minutes of fame, go figure out something else to do. And we are now at a point where we have legacy acts, where I can simultaneously say the best hip hop album out right now is the Clips. And ironically, the one that's most anticipated from what I'm watching is possibly something from Jay-Z.
The Mobb Deep one too, yeah.
There seems to be people who really, really want that.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, the moment that hip hop had last year could have been a blip. But, you know, and it's interesting that things kind of come back full circle to Compton's own Kendrick Lamar Duckworth, because his form of hip hop, his style of hip hop, his commitment to hip hop his commitment to the art and the culture of the music, not just the capital gains of it, is what I think has calibrated the audience to crave hip hop in its truest form. Almost spoken word, almost poetry, lyricism, entendres, you know, rhyme patterns, the science, not just the art. And that makes space for true lyrics and true lyricists who tend to be our kind of godfather hip hop artist. Mm-hmm. A lot of the younger artists are making commercial friendly music that's catchy and doesn't have the same depth, mm-hmm. where you have to listen to it a bunch of times and break the lyrics down. And hey, Ramses, what do you think he meant when he said that?
Yeah, no, you get it.
No, the reaction community created an entire explosion for themselves last year, mm-hmm. reacting to Kendrick Lamar and Drake's, Godzilla King Kong moment. But most of what made that so entertaining, and we got into this ourselves, was what did that mean? Mm-hmm. Not just how much do I like it? Because we could have just played and said, hey, that was great. I loved it. But all of us collectively as a community started to break lyrics down and really get into, what is happening here beneath the layer, beneath the surface, I mean. And I think that ushered in an era where we don't want our OGs to go away. We are actually looking forward to their work and what they have to offer.
One of the things that I'm happy to see is one of the things I thought back when I was kind of a newer radio personality, call it 2006, 7-ish, is I wondered, after hearing those words from my former program director, well, how come rock stars can be like 1,000,000 years old and still tour the world? And how come all these other genres, musicians and R&B acts and gospel, like pick a genre, it doesn't matter, country music, it doesn't matter. How come all these folks get to grow up and be older, but hip hop is not so much? And I know that at that time, it just felt like hip hop is so cool that old people cannot possibly be cool, right? But I think that what he might have been doing was conflating coolness with hip hop instead of conflating coolness with blackness. Because black people, these people in particular, have grown up and still been very cool, right? So you could pick a young hip hop artist, like somebody that makes the modern day equivalent of ringtone rap, right? Stream rap albums, right? Where you want to stream it and it's the hit of the day, right? And they could be number one on streams and you could check all the charts and they're streaming and their song is doing really well. But could they organize a boycott? Could they galvanize the hip hop community together to say, we're going to do this and not do that? And the answer is no. Okay. They're just kind of the fly by night artists. But the OGs, the legends, the Jay-Z's, the Killer Mikes, those sorts of people listen to them. They're juggernauts in this space, right? Clips, Kendrick, etc., right? And I don't want to age Kendrick too much because I know he's kind of like in the middle class, but he's not a new artist. He's got 5-6 albums out now. But rock stars get to grow up. And, as I mentioned, Killer Mike, he had his Grammy win. And the truth is hip hop has always sort of had a more enterprising nature to it, which also helps ensure the longevity of the artist because they do more than just make music. A lot of other genres, they make music. That's what they do. Hip hop artists, look, I make music, but here go my sneakers. Here go my headphones. I came out with a line of video games. I got this, I got that. You know what I mean? And it keeps them relevant and contributing to the culture. And, as it turns out, we've grown up with them. And then young people that are younger than us, like my children, still look up to them, perhaps through me, perhaps on their own, for one reason or another. And I love it. I'm so happy that hip hop has made it 50 years. Here's to another 50.